Brian McCann with a big 3-run home run in last night's game, giving the Astros a lead in the 7th inning. He'll be catching again tonight, and the guy he'll be catching on the mound will be Lance McCullers Jr., making his 3rd road start of the season. The Astros come in with an American League best record of 20-10, taking on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim in the middle game of a 3-game series. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Southern California. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. The Astros a winner last night, Blummer, in 10 innings. It was a game that got scary there in the bottom half of the 9th inning, but a good way to start the weekend.
It is a good way to start. They salvage that win. They come from behind, played hard. It's the only thing that took a beating last night was Dallas Keuchel's ERA, unfortunately.
When you talk about Lance McCullers Jr., throughout his career, much better numbers at home than on the road, and this year those numbers even more exaggerated.
Yeah, I really wish we could explain it, but if the difference wasn't so big, we probably wouldn't be talking about it. But that home ERA you see at 2.08, and this is this season, jumps up to a 9.64 on the road. The only thing that is different is the pitching mound that he's going off of. Obviously, he's a lot more comfortable at home on Minute Maid Park's mound. I wonder if the routine and him having to sit through the top half of that inning here on the road causes some issues. We've seen him pitch in several different ballparks. The breaking ball usually doesn't come out of his hand sharply to start ball games, but once he gets in a rhythm, he seems to be okay.
One way that we'll stop talking about it, if Lance has a couple of good outings on the road, hopefully that starts tonight. How about the comebacks? Don't call it a comeback. The Houston Astros keep doing it in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. Julian Morales with more on that as we return.
Here at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, where the Astros have 20 wins. They got another big win last night, a comeback win. We've seen a lot of those from these guys, and in the clubhouse very pumped up, saying they've got a deep team, they've got a scary team, and that's because of the production that this team does late in games. Just like last night, let's check it out. Jesse Chavez was on the mound for the Angels. They had trouble with him, but in the 7th, they really got things going with Carlos Correa, who's heated up lately. He had a single. Carlos Beltran followed up with a double to put runners on. Mike Scioscia trying to go to the bullpen to find a lefty to get Brian McCann out. Instead, he had a 3-run jack to put the Astros on top. They were feeling good at that point. And you know what this team does? They tack on runs. They've done it all year long. Some insurance runs for this club because you never know. They've had some tight games because of it. Josh Reddick came through, and then Jose Altuve getting on base. This is after a deflating 9th inning. Here's Jose Altuve getting his 9th steal of the year in the 10th inning, setting things up for Carlos Correa, who came through with the game-winning RBI single. Astros eventually win that one 7-6. Now, this team does so well late in games. Check out their record when they're trailing at the end of the 6th inning. The comeback kids right here. They're 8-7, which is the best. And the teams that are doing well in this category are at the top of their divisions. So the two go hand in hand. And A.J. Hinch, guys, he even said today the at-bats with this group are incredible from the first inning on. They just don't stop. Once they get the lead, they're able to mix in some hits and runs and then pad that lead. And I think that is the difference between a good team and a great team, guys. Don't you think?
No doubt about it, Julia. This is a team that, as you said, has so much confidence, but it's not just the confidence from within. They have confidence in the guys behind them. And I think for that reason, they're not leaving the zone. They're being patient at the plate because they know if they take a walk, there's somebody pretty much as good right behind them in the lineup.
Yeah, and there's one thing you can't teach is no panic. These guys have no panic whatsoever. They understand even if they do get on base, if they don't get on base, there's going to be somebody behind them that is going to battle for them. We've seen it several times where a guy will leave somebody out on base, the next guy steps up with some 2-out lightning, drives those runners in. But I credit it all to the fact that they've predicated their spring training on being more of a contact type hitting team. So they've been putting the ball in play. We've seen them fight off a lot of pitches with the foul ball, leading to better counts. Marwin Gonzalez is a key example for me, a guy who's really narrowed down that strike zone and quit chasing down out of the zone. And once he stops doing that, he gets himself in hitters' counts, and you start to see him get better pitches to hit.
There you see Lance McCullers Jr. coming in with Brian McCann and the pitching coach Brent Strom. We had a little bit of a delay at the start of this game, and I think one of the reasons was they were checking on the health of Mike Trout, and he is not in center field as we start this game. He was originally in the lineup. In fact, as of a few minutes ago, we assumed Trout was in center field and batting third, but Cameron Maben is now in center field, so we'll try and get you updated on their new lineup. But there you see who's going to start in center. I mean, that's a big story right now, right out of the gates.
Just said hamstrings bothering him. We knew that he took the couple days off before heading into this series. Played last night, looked relatively good out there, made a nice long run on one of George Springer's fly balls in left center field, but apparently it's irritating him, or maybe he has McCulleritis. He's 1 for 15 with the home run against Lance.
And 8 strikeouts. Either way, it's never a bad thing when you go against the Angels without the MVP. Southwest Airlines starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines, and here is how A.J. Hinch lines them up today. No change in this lineup with George Springer in there in the leadoff spot. You may notice no Jose Altuve getting a day off today on his 27th birthday. Reddick, Correa, Beltran 2 through 4. Brian McCann, a big 3-run home run yesterday. Yuli Gurriel in the 6th spot. Marwin Gonzalez leads the team in home runs and RBIs. Alex Bregman back in there, and Noria O'Keefe.
J.C. Ramirez, big right-hander, getting an opportunity. We talked about some of the injuries to Mike Scioscia's rotation. Therefore, guys like J.C. Ramirez, Jesse Chavez have opportunities to step in. You see his sabermetric numbers, the FIP number at 3.18. I believe that's underneath the Major League average. The BABIP number is actually pretty high, close to 300. When guys do actually put the ball in play, they have a tendency to find a way to get a hit. But J.C. Ramirez is a guy who has a very good fastball at 96 miles an hour, but he is heavy on the slider. We saw him face the Astros back in Houston, a lot of sliders because Astros hit the fastball very well.
Ramirez making a start after 111 career relief appearances. Just began his starting career in baseball against the Kansas City Royals on April 14th. And he starts things off with George Springer with a pitch out of the zone, 1-0. Springer comes in batting an even .250 with 7 home runs and 18 runs batted in. George is about due for one of those leadoff home runs. It's been since game 9 of the season, and he's ahead of the count 2-0. See George with those 7 home runs, and the 18 RBIs are tied for second on the team. He and Brian McCann start the day with 18. Marwin Gonzalez on that recent tear in the Texas series leads the team with 21. 2-0 pitch is chopped foul. J.C. Ramirez is a 28-year-old right-hander. As Blummer mentioned, he's been slider heavy this year. Relied on that fastball as a reliever, but now going a lot to that breaking ball. And he's been good as a starter. He went a 5 1/3 innings in a start against the Astros, at that point a career high. Followed that up with a 7-inning, 2-hit shutout performance in his lone start ever here at Angel Stadium. Springer checks a swing and fouls one back over the Astros dugout.
Sometimes you're concerned when you bring a guy out of the bullpen and have him turn into a starter. There's a pitch count. And gradually, he's gone from 75 to 83 to 92. That last start against Texas, he went 5 1/3 through 91 pitches. So I think they're pretty comfortable with him in the 90-plus range.
Swing and a miss. He gets Springer on that slider we talked about to start this game. And guy who picked up a career-high 9 strikeouts against the Astros the last time he faced his team starts out with a strikeout tonight.
Left-handers having a better time against J.C. Ramirez. Maybe because he takes, or the left-handed hitters take away that slider, hitting 250. Right-handed hitters hitting 212.
It's funny when you have injuries, and we documented the injuries the Angels have. Sometimes somebody shines with an opportunity, and in this case J.C. Ramirez has never had a chance to start in his career, and he's getting a chance for the first time this year, making the most of it early on as Josh Reddick digs in. Josh had a couple of RBIs and a home run last night. Takes a pitch inside for a ball. It's 1-1. Reddick riding a 4-game hitting streak, batting .385 during that time, has his average up to .293. Just underway on a Saturday night. Glad he could join us on Root Sports Southwest 1 hour earlier than last night. And Ramirez misses away. It's 2-1. Quick 3-game road trip. Astros and Angels wrap things up tomorrow afternoon before Houston heads home for interleague baseball for the first time this year. That'll start Tuesday against the Atlanta Braves after an off day Monday. Towards the shortstop where Simmons is so reliable, and he makes the play. Reddick makes it close as he's hustling down the line, but there's 2 away.
Let's take a look at J.C. Ramirez and his numbers on this year. Making his 5th start, he has a 3-2 record. That ERA at 4.23, starting to rack up the innings. 9 walks in those 27 2/3. 31 strikeouts. Has that slider working.
Here's Carlos Correa. He came up with a big hit in the 10th inning last night. For those who didn't see the game, the Astros looked like they were in command, 6-2 heading to the bottom half of the 9th inning with Dallas Keuchel on the mound. And the Angels came up with 4 runs. 3 charged to Keuchel as he left the game with the bases loaded. 1 charge to Ken Giles. And Carlos Correa had to come through with a 10th inning 2-strike 2-out RBI. There's a ball rocketed into left center field. This will be down and all the way to the wall. Correa around first, and he will head into second base with a 2-out double.
Good piece of hitting. Carlos has been swinging the bat well. Little change in the hand position at his start. We'll see where that pitch is located in our ND Anderson strike zone. Slider that backs up a little bit. Good job of sitting on it by Carlos Correa. Hits that mistake, goes down and gets it. Puts himself in scoring position with 2 outs.
You mentioned you were interested to see where some of those line drives to right field would be pull line drives, and that was a bullet that he pulled to left center.
And that's the mentality, I think, that Carlos is taking the fastball like Yuli Gurriel does up the middle the other way, and then hopefully getting some mistake off speed to be able to turbo hook like you just saw.
That ball was a high velocity off the bat as you look at Carlos Beltran with a 1-0 count. Beltran with a couple of doubles last night. Continues to move up the charts. And now he's ahead 2-0. Beltran now tied for 33rd in MLB history with 542 doubles. Over third base, fair ball. The Astros will have a 1-0 lead. Beltran drives in Correa, and Beltran goes into second sliding with a double. Carlos Beltran gives Houston a 1-zip lead.
No, I love those drop shots for RBIs. Those are tasty. Get a good look at that on our Mattress Firm Supermo. Like a running fastball away from Carlos Beltran. Stays on it just long enough, but off the end of the bat, you see splinters fly. But wow, when you see that grab some outfield grass, that is such a good feeling. Good start, too. 2-out RBI.
Now, this rally started with 2 outs and nobody on. Back-to-back doubles by the Carloses, Correa and Beltran. And that's now 543 career doubles for Beltran, which ties him with Tony Gwynn. Ryan McCann, the batter, and he sends one on the right side. The second baseman, Pennington, is there, and he makes the play for the final out of the inning. But a couple of doubles have given Houston and Lance McCullers Jr. a 1-zip lead. And here is your newly revamped lineup for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim by Mike Socha. Yunel Escobar will lead things off at third base. Cole Calhoun is in right field. Everybody else moves up a spot with Trout, a late scratch. Pujols, Valbuena, the former Astros, Simmons, Maben, Cliff Pennington, Martin Maldonado, and Ben Revere is now in the 9th spot. Revere will play in left field tonight.
Lance McCullers for your Houston Astros pitching on the road. We talked about how rough the numbers are when he is on the road, but we're going to look at his overall FIP, BABIP, and soft contact. Soft contact right around 23%, which is pretty good, but that BABIP, when the ball has been put in play off of Lance McCullers, pretty high percentage that they're going to end up being a hit. But we're thinking good vibes. We're on the road. Lance McCullers is in a gray uniform. Hopefully he figured out a routine and got himself ready for this ball game. His roughest innings have been the first and second innings. And then fourth and fifth innings have turned out to be pretty rough, but I think that's because he is battling so hard and throwing so many pitches early in the game that second or third time around for some of these hitters, they get after him.
First pitch to Yunel Escobar, who's pretty aggressive as a leadoff hitter. Swings at the first pitch again tonight. Grounds out to Carlos Correa.
Look at Lance's numbers and appearances against these Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. In his career, he is 3-1 with a 1.79 ERA. He's showing a very good fastball, breaking ball mix. We have heard a lot about that. Actually, last time we saw him back in Minute Maid Park, he did a great job punching out 8 Angels, and he did it a couple times with that changeup that he's added to that mix. Usually breaks it out that second or third time through the order.
Gotta like the numbers against the Angels. His last 4 starts against this team have come at Minute Maid Park. And all those games that he's pitched in, it seems like are 1-run games. His last 2 were 2-1 victories. Before that, a 3-2 win, 4-3 loss, 3-2 loss. There was one game of his 7 starts that was 6-3 in favor of the Astros back in 2015, but everything else has been a 1-run game. This is upstairs to Cole Calhoun. It's 1-1.
He has the worst run support on the team as far as rotation is concerned, right at 3.06. Everybody else is in the 4s and 5s.
Lance has struggled, as we mentioned, on the road this year. His 2 starts at Oakland and Cleveland, now making his 3rd road start of the season. And a foul ball off the bat of Cole Calhoun. And Lance is saying, hey, there's nothing different. I'm ready to go just like I am at Minute Maid Park, and that career ERA separation has grown. It's now 2.11 at home and 5.32 on the road.
It's pretty impressive.
Like you said, it's hard to explain that big of a differential over a 3-run differential, 3.2 on the ERA column. And there's a foul back to the screen.
Well, in Lance's brief career so far, the first and second innings have been the issue for him. I know last year at Minute Maid Park, he was very excitable, threw a lot of balls in that first inning and had to battle back into some counts to get out of it, but eventually pitched very well at home. On the road, it seems like he's walked a couple of guys, given up a couple of big base hits, and led to some runs early on.
Curveball bounced towards Yuli Gurriel. He'll flip to McCullers, and there's 2 away. Lance attacking the strike zone early in this game. 2 quick outs.
Here's a look at those runs allowed by inning on the road. 4 1/3 innings versus Oakland, 5 innings versus Cleveland. But the first 2 innings, 3 in the first, 3 in the second, locks it down that second time through the order right around that 3rd inning. But then the 4th and 5th, I think just the fatigue adds up in those 4th and 5th innings after trying to battle out of some heavy situations in those first 2 innings.
We mentioned the pitch count per inning for Dallas Keuchel and how impressive that has been. Albert Pujols will dig in, hitting in the 3 spot with Mike Trout a late scratch. Still trying to get word on what may have happened with Trout. There's a called strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Overcast evening here in Anaheim, California. A very comfortable temperature in the low 60s. 0-1 pitch takes the mask off Brian McCann. It's 0-2. .595 career home runs for number 5, who won 5-5 yesterday, hit his 55th career home run against the Astros.
You, my friend, are blowing my mind.
Nobody has hit more home runs against Houston than number 5 for the Angels in franchise history. 0-2 pitch inside for a ball, 1-2.
Pulled the string trying to get the changeup past Albert Pujols. And I think Brian McTaggart may have tweeted out that it was close to like 9.5% of Albert Pujols' home runs.
Oof.
Been against the Astros.
That's a high percentage. Did it with the Cardinals, doing it with the Angels. He's a guy that switched leagues along with the Astros through his career. Seems like he's always facing this Houston team. McCullers trying to work through a 2-2 count and a check swing. Does he go around? Yes. No, he doesn't. No, he does not, says Mark Carlson. That was close to a swing, and now it's 3-2.
I was ringing him up. See if you do at home. Yep, he went.
Lance has to regroup with a 3-2 count. And a called 3rd strike. Fastball that is taken by Pujols for the first strikeout for McCullers of this game. 1-2-3 innings for Lance. 1-0 Houston. By Jack in the Box. Taste the Jumbolicious Jumbo Meal before it's gone, only at Jack in the Box. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Number 27, Jose Altuve, on his 27th birthday, celebrating today with an off day. In fact, both 27s MVP candidates out of the lineup today.
Numbers playing a big part.
As Yuli Gurriel will lead things off here in the second against J.C. Ramirez. Yuli coming in with a batting average against right-hand pitching of .368. That's good for second in the American League. You see overall he's batting .309. He's also hitting .395 on the road, which is second to his teammate Jose Altuve. Takes a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Astros leading 1-0 on an RBI double by Carlos Beltran. And it's 2-1 to Gurriel. There are some birthdays on May the 6th. Pretty good athletes in that list. Altuve spending his birthday with Jake Marisnick, at least for now. In the air, right field, Cole Calhoun comes in and makes the play for out number 1 here in the second. Astros starting the day with a highly impressive record within the division of 16-5 against the AL West. Nobody else has a better record within the division than A.J. Hinch's group. Also played very well on the road with an 8-4 mark. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin had a base hit and a walk in last night's game, coming in riding a 5-game hitting streak. Had that home run streak snap last night. He had homered in 5 consecutive starts. Takes a pitch from Ramirez, 1-0.
Good time to start another one.
Yeah, why not? Tied for 3rd in the American League in that category. Marwin's playing at second base today in place of Jose Altuve. Yesterday we saw him at third base in place of Alex Bregman. You're a guy that had to move around the infield. Is that difficult to go? And he did it 4 different positions in 4 days when he hit those home runs.
I think there's a certain level of pride for guys that are able to move around the ballpark and play different positions. I just think it's mostly impressive that Marwin's still been able to maintain his focus at home plate, because sometimes separating your defensive person from your offensive person is a little bit difficult, but Marwin's done a very good job of it. There's a little bit of ego involved, saying, hey, I played 4 different positions. You only played 1 this week. You know, what's going on with you? But it's a lot of hard work. You've got to be highly athletic to be able to move positions, but you also have to have an incredible work ethic, because you've got to take ground balls at 4 spots on a consistent basis.
That's what I was
to stay fresh.
I was going to follow up with. Did you take more at that position that day?
Yeah, if I knew I was starting in a certain position, I would definitely take a majority of the ground balls at that position. But if on days I wasn't playing, I literally would take ground balls at every infield position.
Marwin has been able to do a little bit of everything for the Astros, including becoming a regular player in the last week plus with this home run barrage. It's nice to give guys days off, and there's not many better to spell than Marwin Gonzalez, who was hit on the back foot. And he is limping around behind home plate. It was a breaking ball, but it caught him in the back foot where he does not have a shin guard.
So you just hope it doesn't hit that ankle bone. And a lot of times it hurts worse when you don't anticipate the pain, but he is down in a heap. Oh, man, right on that back left instep. Well, how was that day off, Jose?
We're going to hope that he's okay. Scott Behringer, the assistant athletic trainer, is out there looking at him, but Marwin is in some pain, and A.J. Hinch is there to check him out as well. But I mean, you've been hit pretty much everywhere. The instep.
It hurts. There's nothing good about being hit by a baseball. Obviously, your feet, your ankles, the joints are a little more tender. There's a lot more going on there. Get hit in the foot, you got to go running around all day on it. The swelling has nowhere to go. Last thing you want to do is take off your shoe, because then it'll just expand.
There's Altuve stretching just in case his buddy can't continue. Marwin looks like he'll stay in there, albeit with a limp down to first base.
A little bit of a hitch in the giddy up. But you're hoping he's just able to walk it off.
Third baseman, number 2, Alex.
Altuve is right on the top rail, yelling at his buddy, making sure he's okay. He was ready to go just in case.
It's my birthday. You better stay in there.
That's a guy. That's a guy that does not rest well.
No,
he does not enjoy days off. Alex Bregman fouls one back, 0-1. In fact, I think AJ gave him the day off today as opposed to tomorrow because he knows how much Jose does not enjoy back-to-back days off. And with the natural off day on Monday, waiting 2 days to play baseball for Jose Altuve is like waiting a month for some other guys.
And this is a messy part of the schedule, not in the sense that they're playing a lot of games in a row, but just in the sense that they've got 3 games here after being home for 7, fly home, get home midnight, basically sleep in the next day off, and then you have a 2-game homestand before going back on the road, but you're going to yet another time zone. It's kind of an awkward part of the schedule. Then you fly back from Miami and you get in late and have a day off. But the travel and the time zones is what gets to guys sometimes. You're going to be battling some fatigue here in the next week and a half.
It is a little strange when you have those 2-game homestands. You can't have a shorter homestand without a rainout. 2-game homestand.
Yeah. What are we doing? This looks like a great spot for a 2-gamer.
2-1 pitch into right field for a hit. Marwin had to hold up just to make sure it went through, and now he'll have to test that back foot, that left foot of his, and make sure he gets the second in time for the Alex Bregman base hit. So Bregman with the day off yesterday starts tonight with a single to right.
The only thing that would have been better is ball in the gap where Marwin Gonzalez has to take off and run all the way home, but good piece of hitting by Alex Bregman. Back from that day off, tailing A.J. Hinch. Thank you. I'm refreshed and hit a bullet the other way. Marwin having to use that bad foot, getting into second base.
Mustache is coming in a little bit now for Bregman. Here's Nori Aoki. 2 on, 1 out. Nori had a game yesterday that you rarely see. He had 3 ground balls, all back to the pitcher. 2 of them turned into double plays. And he takes a called strike, 0-1. Nori coming in, batting .279.
Nori had a rough time against J.C. Ramirez back home. Couple of punch outs. Turbo slider down and in.
And he's down in the count, 0-2. You do not see Aoki with many pitchers that have recorded 2 strikeouts on him in 1 game. Nori usually puts the ball in play. Doesn't chase there, pitch in the dirt. Martin Maldonado getting another start behind the plate, as is Brian McCann. Evan Gattis with back-to-back days off. Day game after a night game tomorrow. Might see Gattis back in there with Mike Fiers on the mound for the Astros. And Aoki checks his swing on a pitch down and in. It's 2-2. Astros lead in the West with a 20-10 record is 5.5 games. 20-10 is the best mark Houston's ever had after 30 games, tying the 1973 team. The team managed by Leo DeRocher in his final year as a manager. Chopped off the plate, foul.
Honestly, how does he do that?
I have no idea. You don't see that very often. The ball traveled as deep as possible, and Aoki somehow got his bat on it and chopped it off the plate.
Looked like he fouled it off his left bicep.
On the ground past the pitcher, but it's a potential double play, and is. Aoki's grounded into 3 straight double plays last night and to start today. We are through an inning and a half, 1-0 Houston.
McCullers Jr. is back to work here after a 1-2-3 first inning, and that's been a big thing for him this year, trying to get into games a little bit better. And they're saying, you know, home versus road, they're hoping that is just a coincidence right now, but they are thinking about ways to maybe alter his prep. Some ideas they've had, maybe him starting a little bit later as far as getting warmed up. And, you know, there's even areas down underneath where he could probably throw. They said they weren't going to start doing that just yet. Right now it's about the pitches, being more aggressive as he comes out. But these are all conversations they've had. Maybe even coming into the game from the bullpen. That's even a thought. They couldn't think of anyone that's ever done that before. I don't know if you've seen anyone ever done that before as far as a starting pitcher goes, but all of these things are being talked about, just trying to find a way to get him to be more aggressive and just come out, you know, even the velocity, I should mention that too. That's a little bit lower for him to start out games, and then he'll bring his best stuff later. They want all that to come out firing in that first inning, guys.
Yeah, they're thinking about anything right now, Julia, and because of the great disparity that we've mentioned between the home road numbers, I think the only time I've ever seen guys come out of the bullpen to make a start as a visitor, sometimes guys get late in their warm-ups and aren't back in time when that first pitch is ready to be thrown. But you know, Lance is hoping to have better success tonight in a start against a team where he's had success. He's 3-1 now in Luis Valbuena. I think the one thing, Blummer, that you could have occur if you do something like that, have Lance warm up in the bullpen until he's ready to go in the bottom of the first, is it may start making him think more about it.
I feel the same way. Not that Lance can't handle it, but he's got to be searching a little bit in his own right, because the numbers, there's such a huge discrepancy between the numbers. He has the stuff that should not happen for me, and I'm not sure if it has something to do with getting loose or not.
Into right field, Luis Valbuena off the right field wall. Reddick plays it back quickly and holds the former Astro to a base hit. Valbuena had a pinch hit RBI ground out in last night's game. And he picks up a hit in his first at bat starting against his former team here in the second inning.
Houston Astro fans have become used to seeing this over the last 2 years. Bat flip on a base hit from Luis Valbuena. Still feeling pretty good. It was good to say hi to him before the game. Well played by Josh Reddick, keeping him at first base, enabling a ground ball to turn into a double play.
Here's Andrelton Simmons. He takes a pitch away for a ball, 1-0. That Valbuena hit. You always talk about guys coming back and playing their former team. He could be a dangerous guy in tonight's lineup for the Angels.
Got to watch out for those revenge ABs.
Revenge AB. McCullers fell behind Valbuena, 3-1, and starts out Simmons with a pitch out of the zone. There goes Valbuena, chopper off the plate. Correa will come in and make the play on the opposing shortstop. And there's one out.
Raise your glass and cheer on the Astros Friday, May 19th at Pinot in the Park. Presented by Houston Methodist. Special ticket packages are available with the first 500 purchasers receiving a Pinot in the Park cosmetic bag. For more info, visit astros.com/Pinot today.
Always here at the club level at Angel Stadium. Fans can enjoy a nice meal and a beverage. Lots of glasses of wine have been poured back there behind home plate. Here's Cameron Maybin. Maybin playing center field tonight in place of Mike Trout, who was a late scratch in the lineup. You lose Trout out of the lineup, and your 3-4-5 goes from Trout, Pujols, Valbuena, Simmons. And now Maybin takes one away for a ball, 1-0. Cameron batting .318 his last 6 games. Coming in with an average of .228. There's a strike, 1-1. We've seen Lance not be afraid to throw the changeup in almost any count, whether it's a lefty or a righty. It seems like this year more than ever he's been comfortable with that changeup. That pitch goes through the glove of McCann and hits the home plate umpire Fielding Colbert. That must have been a cross-up.
Big time, yeah. You can see the look on McCann's face when he went back to the backstop and eventually picked that ball up. When it stopped moving, he looked at Lance McCullers and kind of tilted his head sideways and said, "Is that what plan we're on?" So they're going to go out and have a little bit of a discussion. You saw Brian McCann also look at the home plate umpire Phillips Colbert and apologize to him and saying, "Hey, we got crossed up. There was no intention. Just got away from me and I was unable to knock it down." It's a good look at it on Supermode. You can see Brian McCann's going down to the knee to block it. But after the ricochet off the glove, catches Fielding Colbert in that right collarbone area. That is not what Brian McCann was anticipating.
He was looking curveball.
Big time. He was going down there to frame that thing up and get him a pitch. Instead, turns into a 90-foot pass ball.
So the infield on the corners is in the middle, it's back with a 2-1 count to Cameron Maybin. On the ground towards the middle, Correa gloves and throws, spinning play. They do score a run, but Correa retires Maybin on a fine defensive effort. Game tied at 1.
Incredible play. But with that mix-up in the signs of that ball, getting to the backstop, allowing Luis Valbuena to advance 90 feet, a great play turns into a run for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Not an easy play for Carlos Correa, but the man can make it look easy. Going to his left, spin move, gets that shoulder in the right position, makes a good, strong, very accurate throw on the move.
So 2 outs, bases cleared. McCullers will go back to working out of the windup. Cliff Pennington fouls one away.
Let's go ahead and sit back and drink this in. Watch a man do some magic with the leather. Good extension, keeps his composure. Beautiful.
He's having quite a defensive series this weekend. Made a number of fine plays in last night's game. You know, AJ likes to bring the infield in often. In that case, had the infield been in, it probably would have been a base hit, because Correa needed that depth up the middle with the infield back to make that play. 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball for a strike, 1-2. So we're tied at 1 on the RBI ground out by Maben, his 7th run batted in of the season. Off his foot. Stays 1-2. McCullers has faced the Angels more than any other team in his young career. Eighth start out of 43 career starts for Lance have come against Mike Scioscia's team. And he gets the chase there on a 1-2 pitch. So strikeout of Pennington, 2 strikeouts in the game, both to end the innings.
Who came up with a big hit last night, but he's been doing that for some time now. As you watch this video, notice he's using all fields, which is a very good sign for Correa, who did struggle a little bit in the beginning of the year. Now he's really hitting all pitches. He was really struggling with the outside pitch there for a while, something he'd really worked hard on in the offseason and in spring training, but now he has taken the ball the other way as well as extra base hits in 9 out of the last 12 games for him. Really, really good stuff coming from Correa, who's usually in that 4-hole for this Astros ball club.
All right, Julie, on to the 3rd inning. Correa moving up 1 spot in the order tonight with Jose Altuve getting the night off. He will bat 3rd this inning with George Springer taking a pitch out of the zone. It's 1-0. JC Ramirez so far has allowed a couple of doubles, a single. He's hit a batter. 3 hits for the Astros through 2 innings, and we're tied at 1. Lance McCullers Jr. allowing an unearned run in the bottom half of the 2nd. And way up and in on Springer, it's 3-0. Springer's the lone strikeout victim against JC Ramirez. Got him on a slider the first time up. And not even close with that last pitch or the pitch before. So a 4-pitch walk to George Springer to lead off the 3rd.
Back on April 19th, the Astros face this right-hander, JC Ramirez, taking advantage of Jeffrey Marte out there in left field. Did a good job of going the other way, making a tough play on a drop shot in front of him. And right here, picks on the man again with a nice lofted fly ball off the Crawford box. Like to see the same thing continue here, find some gaps and open space out there, driving a couple runs.
Josh Reddick could ground out his first time up. Breaking ball called strike to Reddick, 0-1. J.C. Ramirez, a 28-year-old, born in Nicaragua. Started his career with the Phillies back in 2013. Arizona and Seattle in 2015. Throw gets away from Valbuena, but not far enough for Springer to advance.
Throwing some nasty stuff over there to Luis.
On the ground towards second. Pennington to Simmons for one, and the return in time. Astros continuing to hit into a lot of double plays. That's the second in as many innings. 2 outs and the bases clear. Join us at Minute Maid Park this Tuesday, May 9th, as we celebrate Medical Professionals Night. 2 special ticket packages are available that include an Astros Navy scrub top for the first 500 package buyers. They are selling fast, so make sure you get yours today. So here is Carlos Correa. And he rips one that Escobar spears. It is right in the webbing of his glove, stuck there for the final out of the inning. That ball almost went through his glove.
That's the second time we've seen Carlos Correa here at Anaheim Stadium hit one that sticks in a guy's glove. One time for a hit, this not.
Show you tonight's Chevy Stroh poll. Make sure to jump on Twitter. Follow us at Root Sports SW. That's where you can find the question. Who do you consider to be the greatest pure hitter in Major League history? Pete Rose, Ty Cobb, Hank Aaron, or you can write in your own candidate. Todd?
All right, a lot of possible writing candidates, as Splendid Splinter's not on there. There's some great hitters that were not able to make that list, as we are very pleased to welcome in here for the bottom half of the third inning into the broadcast booth, Mike Scott. Star pitcher with the Astros for so many years. Scotty, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. Great to be here. It's a big sports weekend for me. I was at the pond last night. Saw one of the best games you can ever see, and hope to see a good one today.
That was pretty incredible what happened last night.
Well, I wanted to leave with 5 minutes left, and if I would have left, my wife would have shot me.
3-0
Turned
down,
out pretty
right?
good.
3-0 with less than 4 minutes.
The place must have gone bonkers.
Oh, they did. And a lot of people left and they're trying to get back in, but it was a fun game.
Here we're at a 1-1 game with Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound. Great to have Mike Scott with us here in the booth. Scotty, how much do you pay attention to what the Astros are doing? They're off to quite a start this year.
I'm paying a lot of attention this year. They're pretty good. They're going to be good. It's a fun team to watch. They're going to score a ton of runs. I'd hate to pitch against them.
You would love to have that support, though.
Yeah, but I'm not in that ballpark. They can have that support and then pitch in the Astrodome. That would be pretty good.
You'll take that combo.
Can't
No
have
doubt.
everything. But
Lance McCullers gave up an unearned run in the bottom half of the second inning. A pass ball helped in the run scoring for the Angels. He delivers to Maldonado, and Martin grounds one to short. Carlos Correa makes the play for out number 1.
We got a pitching performance. It's going to be brought to you by Kubota. There he is. He's in our booth currently. That 1986 season. Pretty phenomenal postseason. The only postseason that Mike Scott was able to pitch in and put up incredible numbers with that 2-0 record, 19 punch-outs in those 2 starts against the Mets. And a couple of years ago when I was calling some games with Alan Ashby, we went through Citi Field, and Keith Hernandez came over before one of our games, and a conversation ensued where I literally sat back and turned into that 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid I was at the time, watching this matchup and just listened to the stories. Every guy knew every at-bat. They knew every pitch that was thrown. They knew every play that mattered. Hatcher's home run. There were so many things going on in that 1986 playoff series.
it was intense. It was. And Keith Hernandez, throughout my career, was probably the toughest out that I've ever had to get. If it was 10-0, which it never was, he's probably an easy out. But in a close ball game, he's going to hit it hard somewhere. And yeah, that was pretty intense for us.
Toughest out ever, huh? For you?
He was in situation. Tony Gwynn hit the ball hard a lot. You know, he's going to put the fat end of the bat on the ball. But I just remember Keith Hernandez hurting me more than anybody else.
NLCS MVP as Alex Bregman backs up and makes a nice play against Ben Revere for the second out of the inning. You had a chance to win 2 games in that series, and you just needed to get that 7th game. That was such a tough.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about that, but who knows? You know what? I could have gone out there and got knocked around, and that whole first game meant nothing. But we never played it, and everybody can speculate. But I wish we would have got there and found out, but we didn't.
You guys clinched the West in pretty dramatic fashion, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, that kind of worked out too. It just happened to be. You know, it was a day game. I happened to get the game that we could clinch in. And I know that day Cincinnati also played. And if they had lost, which we wanted to lose because they were in second place, but that day, if they had lost, then we would have clinched before playing the game.
Oh, wow.
So we're kind of rooting for them to win because we had a few games to clinch it. So they won. So we went to the ballpark thinking, okay, we can win a game and clinch the division. And it worked out pretty good for us.
Yeah, you ended up throwing a no-hitter, but what happened to the first hitter of the game that you faced? This is great.
Right in the middle of the back. Right square.
Squared him up.
Between the numbers. Yep.
Set the tone early, right?
Well, I guess I was a little pumped up. It wasn't intentional, but it sure looked like it was.
It worked out great, like you said.
A beautiful day that was in late September. There's a strike from Lance McCullers. Here's some highlights of that day in the Astrodome. Like Robbie Thompson might have been the hitter right there.
What a thrill. Do you remember guys in that lineup that were giving you any kind of issues that day, or you were just locked in?
No, but I do remember, and Ash will tell you the same thing, that the pitch to Will Clark might have been the worst pitch I threw. You got you're one pitch away, and it was right down the middle, and it hung, and he just happened to ground at the first base.
September 25th, 1986. Can't believe it's almost 31 years ago now that happened.
Yeah, I can.
3-1 to count to Yunel Escobar and a breaking ball for ball 4. We see Lance McCullers, a junior, out there as we'll take a look at some of these highlights from the no-hitter. And what a day that was, Scotty. You said you were amped up, obviously a lot on the line, and the crowd was ready to go that day.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the last game of the season. If we didn't win, we weren't going to win the pennant, but we were going on the road. We had a chance to win a game, just celebrate, just have a fun, not show up at the ballpark, say, hey, Cincinnati lost, we win. That's not as fun.
Lance McCullers has a 2.08 ERA at home and a 9+ ERA on the road. Can you talk a little bit about the differences there might be in him at home and pitching on the road?
Well, obviously he's more comfortable there, and everybody would kind of rather pitch at home, but that ballpark, it's tough to. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great ERA for any ballpark, especially there. But I know that different mounds around the league, I'd rather were more comfortable for me. It's the setting. Sometimes it looked like you're on top, like Dodger Stadium looked like you're right on top of the hitter, and Wrigley Field I felt like I was throwing from second base. Just it's a flatter mound. So I think different places are obviously more comfortable, and I guess he's really comfortable at home.
You were a guy, you pitched the majority of your time in the Astrodome at home, who had better home numbers too. Was that a lot of the Astrodome and your comfort?
I don't think teams liked to come in there. They didn't like to come in and hit there. They always thought the lighting was bad, or we were turning the air conditioning on, which wasn't happening. But they had bad attitudes. They wanted to get in and get out, which was good for us.
That 86 season was great for you and the ball club. You won a Cy Young that year. What is your opinion on a pitcher winning a Cy Young and an MVP possibly?
I have never been. I don't think a pitcher can win an MVP. I think a stopper can win an MVP. I don't think
really.
A starter. Oh yeah, he can go in there and save 50 games a year. That's good. If you take a starter out and put anybody else in that, you're only pitching once every 5 days. I don't think you're in there enough. I don't think they should. It's happened, and guys have had great years and won it, but I can see a stopper, but I can't see a starter getting there.
Interesting.
That is.
That's a good thought. Well, what are people who are watching us probably curious how you've been? Everything good here in California?
Been great. I kind of haven't been in California. I just got back. My wife and I went to South Africa and did a safari.
Wow.
I'm going to go on a golfing trip in Scotland in a couple of weeks. But it's not like I'm every other week doing this, but it's piling on right now.
Timing is everything. We appreciate you making time for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a fun team to watch.
You
mentioned the offense, and then Keuchel and McCullers are a pretty good 1-2 combination.
Keuchel, I'll tell you what, he is. They don't even take good swings off him the games I've watched. It's just he's just in such a groove right now, and he's for real.
Is that how you watch a game? You watch as a in the pitcher's mentality what the swings are like?
I wasn't looking for that when the last time I watched him pitch, but as I'm watching it, these guys aren't even taking good swings. It's just something whatever he's doing, he knows what he's doing. He's got great command. He's got great confidence. He can throw any pitch at any count. He's going to be good for a long time. And he's not 110%. He's going to be around for a while.
Very efficient with his pitches. You pitched on some good pitching staffs, and we talk about it sometimes, and we've heard it talked about how there's a little bit of a friendly competition between starters. Did you ever have anything like that in the rotations you were with?
Yeah, you don't talk. You don't talk about it, but yeah, you do. You go, I want to. He did pretty well. I can get these guys too. I think that's all. Throughout, when you're coming up, it's the same thing. But when you're coming up in the minor leagues, that's a big difference, because in the big leagues, you just want to win games. Yep. In the minor leagues, I'm competing. One of us is going up, and one of us is staying here. So I need to do better than you. It's a little bit different dynamic.
Line drive caught by Marwin Gonzalez. Mike Scott, thank you so much for the time.
Good seeing you guys.
Great to see you.
Really appreciate it. Good seeing you again, Scotty.
Great Mike Scott joining us in the broadcast booth. Lance McCullers gets through the third, still tied at 1.
Houston Methodist is going to bring us our league leaders. Most extra base hits by a switch hitter. Carlos Beltran on that list, just behind Eddie Murray and Chipper Jones. 1,044, I believe that is, right above Pete Rose, Mickey Mantle on that list also, but some phenomenal names. Hall of Fame votes galore between those guys. Not easy to do. See a lot of guys put up numbers very good as a one-sided hitter, but when you try and do it from both sides, it's a credit to what these guys are able to do, the longevity and the ability it takes to last that long and put up great numbers.
Now, Carlos Beltran now in his 20th season. Started in 1998 and takes a pitch down and in for a ball. It's 2-1 at the big league level, that is. Facing J.C. Ramirez. Beltran with a double his first time up, counting for the Astros' lone run tonight. He doubled home Carlos Correa and also matched Tony Gwynn in the process on the career doubles list. And chopper foul off the bat of Beltran. They now have 543 doubles in their career. Tony Gwynn and Carlos Beltran tied for 32nd all time. We heard Mike Scott thank him for joining us in the booth, talk about Tony Gwynn, one of the toughest outs he ever had, but he also mentioned Keith Hernandez. Good to hear Scotty reflect on that 86 season. Always good to talk to those guys. You said you were kind of a fly on the wall during their conversations in the past with Ashby and Keith Hernandez.
No, it's amazing, and I didn't have a chance to ask him because I had so many other questions for Mike Scott. But Keith Hernandez, it's interesting to hear that he said he was a tough out in tough situations. But in that conversation between Keith Hernandez and Alan Ashby, they were talking literally pitch by pitch in 1986 NLCS. And that's what blew me away, because I remember some of the ABs here and there because I was a kid at the time. But they were going through it one by one, asking about situations, some of the chatter that was going on in the dugouts during that NLCS. It was incredible stuff to listen to.
Yeah, the games in the 80 and 86 NLCSs between the Phillies and Astros in 80 and the Mets and Astros in 86. Right. Some of the greatest playoff games you'll ever want to see. Pitch from J.C. Ramirez to Brian McCann, misses up and away for a ball, 1-0. McCann grounded out his first time up. Astros have had some base runners on, but also have hit into 2 double plays tonight. Houston, coming into tonight, had hit into 40 double plays this year. Next closest in the major leagues was Boston with 33.
Is it not incredible to think of that number and then see their record? Gives you an idea of how we keep talking about how they're a high on base percentage. They're always hitting with runners in scoring position, yet they've hit into a league leading 40 double plays. It's incredible.
+2 tonight, second inning and third innings. And now J.C. Ramirez and Martin Maldonado want to have a word as they try and deal with Brian McCann here. Astros with 3 hits, a walk, and a hit batsman through 3 in a third innings. Ramirez making his 5th start of the year, his 2nd against the Astros. Pitches away to McCann. It's 2-0. McCann has hit, with his home run last night, 5 home runs on the season. Trying to make it 10 years in a row of 20 home runs or more. He didn't hit a home run here when the All-Star game was here, but he was a part of the winning National League team and hit a 3 RBI double that earned him MVP. 3-0 pitch is away, and a 4-pitch walk. A couple of those tonight from J.C. Ramirez. 1 to George Springer, now 1 to Brian McCann. He's a 1-out base runner.
Astros having a little bit better ABs against J.C. Ramirez this go around. Second time they've seen him this year. A lot of sliders in that previous appearance for J.C. Ramirez led to those 9 strikeouts that they had of Houston Astro hitters. A lot of sliders to those right-handers away, unable to square them up. But it seems that they're a little more patient trying to bring that slider and that fastball back into the zone off J.C.
On the ground, deep in the hole, past the diving Andrelton Simmons. Yuli Gurriel has another hit against a righty, and another hit on the road as Yuli with a base hit to left. First and second, one out.
Seeing eye base hit to left field. This is right where you want to be, getting scoring position with Marwin Gonzalez coming up, and this is what we mean by a seeing eye single. Not hit very hard, just able to sneak it through there. Andrelton Simmons was playing in that double play depth, which cuts down on the range and the angles you're able to take in order to knock that down. Just sneaks it past him.
You saw Marwin Gonzalez get hit by a pitch his last time up. Marwin was still limping a little bit, even at the end of last inning defensively and walking to the plate this inning. So not quite feeling 100% as he strides in there and takes a pitch away for a ball 1-0.
It's a bomb right here. That pain will go away.
Trotting around the bases, you probably won't feel the foot as much. Well, he has hit his share of bombs lately, up to 9 on the season, and a team leading 21 runs batted in. Fly ball in the left field where Ben Revere will drift towards the line, and he makes the play for out number 2. And Marwin will slowly walk towards the dugout. He is definitely favoring that left foot. 2 outs, 2 on in the 4th inning. J.C. Ramirez will face Alex Bregman. Bregman a hit in his first at bat tonight. And he fouls one away, 0-1. Yeah, it is quite remarkable, as you mentioned, with the Astros, with those 42 double plays, but they continue to score runs in pressure situations and come from behind late in games. Bregman's a guy who hits with runners in scoring position at a .458 clip, good for 2nd in the American League. And he chops one foul. He's down to the count 0-2. And the Astros as a team hitting .300 with runners in scoring position. So if you're hitting .300 with runners in scoring position and you hit into a lot of double plays, all it says is you just got a ton of runners on all the time.
Exactly. That's what the Astros like to do. That's what they need to do. And I think that the on-base percentage, command of the strike zone, but the ability too, with 2 strikes, to be able to put that ball in play and put pressure on the defense. Sometimes it is going to lead to those double plays, but sometimes it's going to lead to runs too.
I mean, you've talked about the transition this team has made from a team that strikes out a lot to a team that's starting to put the ball in play a lot. Even though double plays are a product of that, you'd rather see them move the baseball.
Yeah, you want to force the defense to make plays.
They want one up in the zone here against Bregman. Instead, it's down in the zone and it gets away. Advancing a base each are McCann and Gurriel. Now 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs.
It was just a slider that got yanked into the dirt. Extra 90 feet. Now a base hit, scores 2.
Now with a runner on third, does that power slider get taken away from J.C. Ramirez? Afraid to bounce another one. We shall see. Foul back to the screen. On the ground, but Simmons is there at short. And he throws out Bregman to end the inning. Couple of left on. We are through 3.5, heading to the bottom of the 4th, tied at 1.
Astros and Angels here in the bottom of the 4th inning. See the sunset out here in beautiful Southern California. We're talking about Lance McCullers Jr. 1 run given up, 1 hit given up, and you see the pitch usage across the bottom. 25 fastballs, 13 curveballs, 7 changeups, 45 totals. Seems to be pretty efficient so far early in the game. Usually we see that curveball number quite heavy, but the second go around through the lineup is when he starts to mix in more breaking balls and more changeups. We'll see how it goes from here on out.
Facing Albert Pujols, struck out looking his first time up and misses with a changeup inside for a ball, 1-0. It is unusual, even though first time through, as Blummer said, we see more fastballs usually from Lance, but to see 2-to-1 fastball to curveball is a little unusual.
It is a lot more fastballs from Lance, trying to establish.
There's that curveball, and he gets a foul ball out of it. Weakly hit towards third. It's 1-1.
1-0 slide, 1-0 curveball with a big swing from Albert Pujols tells you that he is sitting on the slider. Curveball.
Call it either way. It's such a power pitch. It's a power curveball or a slider.
Well, the hard one looks like the slider. The bigger break on it looks more like a traditional curveball to me.
And he gets a ground ball on the changeup. Carlos Correa throws to first.
Good movement on that pitch. AT&T is going to bring us our pitch usage. We're talking about Lance McCullers through the lineup this season. That's what Todd and I were just talking about. First time through, that fastball at 47%. The second, third time through the lineup, he starts to mix it up a little bit. Maybe he's throwing that get me over curveball early on. 52% of the time, you see it almost flips percentages. But then the changeup comes into mix. First time through, they're looking fastball, curveball. This is a real opportunity this season for Lance with that changeup, and Brian McCann knows it too, to mix in that changeup. Just another wrinkle that maybe the hitter isn't sitting on.
It was a good breakdown early through 3 innings to see 13 curveballs through 11 hitters. So basically 1 a hitter, and part of the game plan. You know, Brian McCann sat there with Lance before the game, and they went through it, and they obviously decided to go heavy fastball first time through. And we'll see how he mixes it in the rest of the way. It's 0-1. There's a fastball in the inside corner, and he's ahead of Luis Valbuena, 0-2. Valbuena hit one off the wall for a single. It was played well by Josh Reddick, but he would come around to score. He gained 90 feet with a wild pitch, actually a pass ball called against Brian McCann, and that ended up being an unearned run as Valbuena scored on a ground out. And it's 0-2. Valbuena, 2015. 2016, member of the Houston Astros, with Alex Bregman solidifying third base. He found a home with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim this offseason. Valbuena was one of those guys that, kind of like Marwin, could play everywhere and do a pretty good job.
Play the corner infield, corner outfield positions, I'm sure, if necessary. We saw him a little bit in left field. We saw him a lot at third base. Could play a great third base defensively.
Has been limited this year to just 7 at-bats coming into tonight. Had a hamstring injury in spring training that caused his season to start about a month later than everyone else. And there's a ball ripped in the right field. He is 2 for 2 against his former team. And going back to last night with an RBI as a pinch hitter, he's been productive in every at-bat. He owns both hits allowed by Lance McCullers. Andrelton Simmons. He was retired on a great play by Carlos Correa. There's a guy who can appreciate great shortstop defense. It's the guy at the plate, Andrelton Simmons. And Simmons grounds one foul, 0-1. McCullers, 2 starts on the road, 4 1/3 innings and 5 innings. Total of 15 hits and 10 runs allowed in those 9 1/3 combined innings. Another ball chopped foul, 0-2.
Jordan Simmons has turned into hack mode. Swinging in a lot of pitches. He punched out on a changeup last time in Minute Maid Park off Lance McCullers. I wonder if he'd be interested in throwing him another one right here.
Simmons a key at bat, maybe the key at bat in last night's 4-run rally in the 9th inning. On the ground, Bregman, nice backhand play to second for 1. No chance for the turn as Valbuena slides into his former teammate Marwin Gonzalez. They have a little tussle at second base. Fans kind of saw that and thought, wow, what's going on? But they're just buddies having a good time out there.
Yeah, you got to be able to look past that and understand that these guys know each other. But that is a heck of a play by Alex Bregman. Number one, just to get to the ball, but then to have the sense to come up throwing to second base. Marwin made a good pick of it to get that lead out.
So 2 outs, runner on first base. Brings up Cameron Maben. There goes the runner Simmons. Line drive center field. Springer on the move. Diving catch by George Springer for the final out of the 4th inning. Tied at 1 through 4.
It's good to get a little help from your friends. Dallas Keuchel gets double plays. Lance McCullers getting a great play from George.
Presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Fifth inning baseball, all tied at 1. Noriaoki will lead things off for the Astros here. Then back to the top of the order, George Springer, Josh Reddick facing J.C. Ramirez, making his 5th major league start in his 116th major league appearance, 111 games as a reliever. Now 5 starts in a row as Noriaoki, who is grounded into 3 consecutive double plays going back to last night. And he grounds one. This one over the head of Escobar. Bare hand try by Simmons in the left field. Oki has a base hit. He's a leadoff base runner.
One way to stay out of a double play is to lead off the inning. Another ground ball, but he found a way to sneak it through this infield. Colossal chopper over the third baseman, playing in, defending the bunt. No shot for Andrelton Simmons. Would have been interesting, though, to see him if he could have barehanded that ball and gone Omar Vizcal on this play.
He's made some spectacular plays throughout his career with the Braves and the Angels, but no chance on that play. Here's George Springer. He chops one towards Escobar, almost the exact same spot. Simmons with a long throw, but an infield hit for George Springer. Aoki and Springer from the left and right side with almost identical ground balls, and the Astros have 2 base hits.
Mirror image of what just happened. That's pretty impressive to do that back-to-back. I guess George Springer saw Aoki do it and said, hey, why not me?
Simmons made a throw, but no chance with Springer running down the line. So now 2 on, nobody out, and Josh Reddick is the batter. Escobar in tight at third, expecting the possibility of a bunt. And Aoki on second starts to draw the attention of J.C. Ramirez. So the Astros with a rally here, tied at 1. There's 6 hits on the board now for Houston as we play here in the 5th. No sign of a bunt. The pitch is a strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Back Escobar up a couple of steps at third. On the ground, Valbuena to second for 1. Simmons looking for somebody to cover. Nobody at first base. Aoki does not score. He has to hold at third as the play is backed up by Valbuena. But Simmons was trying to throw for a double play, and there was nobody at home at first base.
That was interesting to see. As a shortstop, you're not trying to lead the pitcher over there. The only time you really want to make that throw is if the pitcher's actually on there. The ball hit hard from Josh Reddick on a hop to Luis Valbuena, gets that lead out. But it almost looked like Simmons, as he was getting ready to release the ball, said, maybe I shouldn't do this, and threw just a scud over to first base. They're lucky Aoki didn't make a turn and head for home.
And they were fortunate a run did not score there. Instead, it's first and third with 1 out. And Carlos Correa the batter. J.C. Ramirez was nowhere close to covering first base in time. See if the Astros can take advantage. Correa double. He's also hit a rocket that's stuck in the webbing of Yunel Escobar's glove at third. He has hit the ball very hard twice tonight against J.C. Ramirez. And he takes a pitch away. Ball 1, 1-0. Hard contact percentage very strong in the beginning of 2017 for Carlos Correa. And a lot of that hard contact has come in the last couple of weeks.
He always seems to find his way onto those high exit velocity StatCast lists. Very patient, and when he gets a pitch he likes, he does a good job of getting the barrel to it. Ooh.
You like those swings.
I only say ooh because he missed it, because if he actually squares it up, I got to let you talk. Because usually good things happen. This is a slider that backs up right down the middle, and Carlos knows he missed one right there.
Correa trying to give the Astros a lead once again. Takes a pitch away. It's 2-1. Seemed like he saw that slider out of his hand pretty early, because he did not even offer it that pitch.
We're really not seeing the tilt that we saw in Minute Maid Park. It's really been backing up a little bit for J.C. Ramirez, not quite as sharp. And if you're looking for nasty and you don't get nasty, you're going to have some pretty good swings.
Up the middle, but Simmons is there for the 3rd time tonight. The Angels turn a double play on the Astros. That's now 43 on the season. Houston is grounded into a double play. Bottom half of the 5th inning, Astros with 6 base hits. But they've also hit into 3 double plays. Lance McCullers Jr. has only allowed 2 hits tonight, both to Luis Valbuena. He'll have the bottom third of the order for the Angels. Cliff Pennington, Martin Maldonado, and Ben Revere, 2 up here in the 5th inning. It's amazing how many times the Astros have hit into double plays this year. Now with Boston playing tonight, they came in with 33, but 10 more than Boston, plus whatever the Red Sox have grounded into tonight. 1-0 the count.
Good job of creating separation by the Astros hitters. It's driving me nuts. They've had so many opportunities. You can't blame these guys. They're not trying to hit into double plays. They're not trying to make these outs. There's so many opportunities, first and third, first and second. If there's a guy in first base, there's always that opportunity to go out and get those double plays. And they're buzz kills, inning enders. But I'm not sure you can go out there and ask a guy, don't hit a ground ball.
Right.
Because with a runner on third base, less than 2 outs, we talk about all the time, they're trying to elevate to the outfield and drive that runner in. Going to have some bad luck sometimes, and they've had bad luck 43 times.
And the reality is, had J.C. Ramirez been covering on the play before, Josh Reddick could have hit into a double play.
Yeah,
so
it's so true.
There were 2 potential double plays. The ball was thrown away. Fortunately for the Angels, there's not a lot of foul territory here behind the first base bag, because that bounced right off of the Astros dugout. And Norioki did not score on the wild throw. Here's Martin Maldonado. He had a nice game against Dallas Keuchel last night with a home run and another base hit. Keuchel had very little damage done against him until that 9th inning, as Lance McCullers has been very strong tonight, working through the lineup for the 2nd time. In the air, shallow right. Josh Reddick is there. For the hitters in the lineup not named Luis Valbuena, they're now 0 for 14 against Lance this evening. Connect Astros baseball all season long with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Customize the app for the Astros and get awesome stuff all year long by subscribing to at-bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Download MLB.com at-bat today, the #1 app for live Astros baseball. Here's Ben Revere, late addition to this Angels lineup tonight. Rounded out his first time up. In case you're just joining us, Mike Trout was a starter in the lineup, batting third and playing center field for Mike Scioscia until literally minutes before the game. And at that point, the game was delayed by a minute or 2. Scioscia had to change his lineup. Ben Revere was put in the lineup as the #9 hitter. Everybody else moved up 1. Revere playing left, and Cameron Maybin moved over to center. So the Astros not facing Mike Trout. A couple of days after he missed a game due to some tightness in his hamstring. It's 0-2 to Revere.
That'll loosen up the hamstring.
Could there be more jalapeno peppers in one helmet?
they're challenging that.
That is an aggressive amount of jalapenos.
Strong to quite strong.
Lance up and into Revere. It's 1-2. Look at this game. Lance has 2 strikeouts, but none since the 2nd. J.C. Ramirez, who struck out a career high 9 against the Astros in his last start, struck out George Springer to start the game, and none since then. So 2 guys who you expect to see some strikeouts, at least based on what Ramirez did against Houston last time. Not a lot of Ks tonight. But Ramirez has been working with the ground ball out. McCullers has had 3 consecutive fly ball outs. Prior to that, all his outs were on the ground with the exception of a line drive to Marlon Gonzalez. On the ground or strikeouts. See Lance with 66 pitches. Trying to get through the 5th here with 2 outs and nobody on. And he gets a strikeout there, getting Revere to chase, and that'll be his 3rd, his 1st, then striking out Maybin to end the 2nd.
Numbers as a switch hitter. We see him sneaking that ball down the right field line here in the first game of this series, racking up extra base hits. Can't sneak the cheese past him. Does a good job hammering that one off the right field wall. 40-year-old still getting after it here with a runner in scoring position. You've seen the Rockets, now you see the drop shot. Double, using those wheels to get into second base. Every time this guy swings the bat and gets a knock out of it, he is setting Hall of Fame type numbers.
Yeah, to be tied with Tony Gwynn in any category is that's a thing of beauty.
That is.
Tony Gwynn and Carlos Beltran tied now with 543 career doubles. Beltran has 3 doubles in this series, including the one in his first AB. He's also lined out to the third baseman, Yunel Escobar. Pitch misses from J.C. Ramirez, and he has fallen behind to start the count to Carlos Beltran, 2-0. Astros have had base runners against this guy, J.C. Ramirez, at least 2 in every inning and 1 in the third. But 3 of them have been wiped out on double plays as Beltran fouls one away. It's 2-1. Up next, a guy whose number will be retired when the Astros are in New York next weekend.
Derek Jeter.
Number 2.
Remember that. That was good. Love how they replayed that for him. But yeah.
You know what would be cool is as Beltran swings and misses, Beltran being back there, the guy on deck being back there, Brian McCann, those guys getting to see Jeter's number retired, having been his teammates, pretty cool.
That is very cool. A lot of respect for number 2 up there in New York.
2-2 pitch on the ground. Pennington was playing deep in the shallow right, so he has to run in and make the play. And there's 1 out in the 6th inning.
Tonight's Shiner Light Blonde spotlight falls on Brian McCann. Hot zones on the left, spray chart on the right. Everything except that pitch down the middle. Probably because he doesn't get very many of those pitches down the middle, but he does a good job working the edges of the zone. You see 13 to the pull side, therefore you're going to see the shift played on him quite a bit, but still able to sneak a couple the other way with those 5 knocks. Done a very good job for the Houston Astros, hitting 277 with those 5 bombs.
Sure, for McCann and Beltran when he bats left-handed, the enticement of that pull swing going back to Yankee Stadium will be there, because he said he got pull conscious being in Yankee Stadium as your home venue for 81 games a year.
Easy place to leave to the pull side.
Well, we also have seen him with big hits, including at least 1 home run the opposite way this year.
Did you like the new, or do you like the new Yankee Stadium? I was kind of partial to the old one. I know that our job is a little bit different.
Yeah.
The booth is nice and comfortable.
Here's a ball into center field, and McCann, just like that, you said 5 hits the opposite way. Give him 6 now to left field. I mean, specifically as a fan, I think you cut out a lot of that area behind home plate. It's so expensive to sit there. You take some of the real fans away from having a chance to sit in good seats.
No, I agree with you. But I just thought the mystique of knowing that you had stepped into the box where Mickey Mantle, some of these guys, Joe DiMaggio, I mean, some of the legends that have gone through there, Don Mattingly.
It is a beautiful stadium. They spent so much money doing a lot of things right in that stadium. But, yeah, there's always going to be that mystique of the old building that will never quite be the same in the new building. That's for sure.
Well, some of the things you can't explain to fans is walking down some of these tunnels like Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, and then old Yankee Stadium, just understanding the history that has been underneath that stadium and walking through those tunnels.
Every once in a while, especially at the time with the Rays, I would walk through a tunnel at Fenway Park and ask a guy, you know who was through here?
Exactly.
And they start to think about it. Like, that's pretty wild. That tunnel hasn't changed.
Yeah, when you try and wrap your head around who's gone through those tunnels, I mean, imagination's one thing, but the reality of that imagination is another.
Here's Yuli Gurriel. He had a base hit his last time up. Astros have had a runner in every inning. Yuli, when he singled, he and Brian McCann went to second and third with 1 out.
Oh, come on,
Actually with 2 outs, and Alex Bregman grounded out to end the inning. 2-2 the count to Yuli. A.J. Hinch very pleased to see his team playing the way they are within the division, and certainly on the road as well. Gurriel, high fly ball to center field. Cameron Maben in front of the track will make the play. McCann heads back to first, and there's 2 outs.
Second baseman, number 9, Marlon Gonzalez.
See J.C. Ramirez up to 83 pitches in the 6th inning. Plummer mentioned he's been lengthened out his last few starts, but it's still his career high. Just beginning his time as a starting pitcher at the big league level, his career high and his season high is 92 pitches in 1 start. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Doesn't seem to be limping as much as he heads to the plate this AB. He was hit on the back foot his first time up, also flied out to left field. Called strike, 0-1. But they still have Monument Park out there.
Yep. That's pretty cool.
That's a really cool part of it. And now with Derek Jeter going up as number 2, I think pretty much all the single digits are gone.
I mean, the Astros have quite a few retired numbers, but the Yankees have barely anybody left on their roster that can get a number.
I think that's why Aaron Judge wears 99. He was looking for a number that nobody would ever have. How about that? The Astros have another inning with 2 base runners on. This is the 5th inning out of 6 where Houston has 2 base runners on, and they have scored a total of 1 run.
Something has got to give. Get Lance McCullers some run support.
Well, they've got the right guy in terms of hitters hitting with runners in scoring position, Alex Bregman. He had a shot last time, though, and grounded out to short. But he fell behind in the count, 0-2, and tried to battle back. See if he can get something here against J.C. Ramirez. 8 hits, 1 walk, 2 walks, 1 hit batsman. So 11 different base runners and 1 run. Fouled away, 0-1. AJ wouldn't mind a hit here. Looking for a little separation in this 1-1 game. Astros led early 1-0 on back-to-back doubles by Carlos Correa and Carlos Beltran. And the Angels scored an unearned run in the bottom half of the 2nd. Pitches in on the hands of Bregman, and it goes as a foul ball, apparently 0-2.
We got to take Alex Bregman to acting class. Speaking of Derek Jeter, who did a very good job back in the day of making a foul ball look like a hit by pitch.
That's right.
Nice try there, Bregman, baby.
See the hands coming through off the end of the bat.
Pitch just misses, 1-2. After the 2 doubles by the Carloses in the 1st inning, all the other hits for the Astros have been singles. Bregman, Gurriel, Aoki, Springer, McCann, Gonzalez, all with singles. Single here could score a run. McCann trying to get a good secondary lead off second base. Bregman fouls it away. It's 1-2. Angels getting some bullpen action working as Ramirez is about to make his 90th pitch of the game. And Ramirez gets Bregman swinging. Just the 2nd strikeout of the game in the 1st since the first batter of this game.
Angels. And the J.J. Watt Charity Classic is back at Minute Maid Park on Saturday, May 13th. The 5th annual event features a home run derby, followed by a softball game featuring the Houston Texans. All proceeds from the event will benefit the J.J. Watt Foundation. Visit astros.com/JJ Watt for tickets and information. And speaking of charity events, y'all, Lance McCullers Jr. and Jose Altuve are doing Team Up for Kids and Canines. They're coming up on May 18th at Tootsie's in Houston. Should be a great event. Todd.
All right, Julia, we get a ground ball at the bat of Yunel Escobar to start the bottom half of the 6th. A lot of good charity events coming up around the Houston area. Make sure to stay tuned for that with Jose Altuve and Lance McCullers Jr. hosting that other event on May 18th, and then the J.J. Watt Charity Classic. How about Lance tonight, Plummer?
He has been pretty good. It's nice to see him putting up good numbers on the road. We talked about it in the pregame hit, in the open, talking about Lance's issues. We talked about it with the great Mike Scott, and he had some interesting insight on how the field looks to the pitcher. Some of the mounds are different, but he's doing a great job tonight, looking for some run support, which he hasn't gotten too much of all year.
I was looking at Scotty's numbers because I knew he was going to be up in the booth with us. He actually did have an ERA of 1.5 runs per game higher on the road than at home.
I noticed that too.
And I think, you know, he pitched in the Astrodome a lot of years, and that's certainly a pitcher's ballpark. But you look at the peripherals, he had 41 more walks on the road and 125 more strikeouts at home. So it sounds like he was able to attack the zone more effectively at home pitching in that ballpark. For Lance, it's harder to explain because he pitches in Minute Maid Park.
Well, it seems like this rotation and some of these guys, Dallas Keuchel, Colin McHugh, Charlie Morton's doing well back at Minute Maid Park, so is Lance McCullers, but they're kind of bucking the trend of Minute Maid Park being a hitter's ballpark.
And I'm sure as Cole Calhoun is down to the count 1 and 2, I'm sure as much as Lance enjoys being interviewed by Julia and others in the clubhouse, he's probably tired of talking about the home road splits, but until he pitches like this.
Well, I was just going to say, you know how you get people to stop talking about it? Play better. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth.
And he has been on his game tonight. Only 2 base hits by Luis Valbuena, his former teammate. And there's a close pitch at 1 and 2. Colors has not had many close pitches called his way tonight. It's 2 and 2 on Calhoun, who is grounded out and lined out. There is Lance against the background of the rock formation here at Angel Stadium. On the ground, Gurriel. He likes to flip to his pitcher instead of taking himself, and he'll do it again here with Lance covering. And that's back-to-back groundouts to start the bottom of the 6th inning.
Helping out his pitcher's arbitration numbers by flipping. Get credit for the put out. Go to the table, you say, hey, look at, I racked up some serious putouts in there in 2017, guys.
But that was one that probably could flip or should flip. There's been a couple where he literally is right next to the bag and he'll still flip it.
Hey, numbers are numbers. Your analytics, you know, your BABIP goes way down.
Now Yuli really could use Lance's help if he gets a ground ball, because look how far off the bag he is in the shift against Albert Pujols. I mean, he is literally halfway between first and second.
Yeah, there's no way a lot of first basemen in the big leagues make it back to first base.
If there's a ground ball on the right side, it is hustle time for Yuli Gurriel. There's a breaking ball outside for a ball, 1-0. And that's an aggressive position placement for a guy who is in his first full year playing first base every day.
I'll tell you what, if somebody hits a ground ball right at him, Lance McCullers better get on his horse and get to first. Cover.
Check swing, pitch that missed inside. It's 2-0. Man's just missing on a couple close ones to Pujols, who is struck out and grounded out. Pulls the string there, 2-1. Pujols coming in tied for 4th in the American League with 24 runs batted in. And a swing and a miss at a good fastball. After being down the count 2-0, McCullers is evened at 2-2. We mentioned that J.C. Ramirez has never thrown more than 92 pitches in any game in his major league career. And he may be coming out as Blake Parker continues to throw. In the air to center field. George Springer doesn't have to move very far. Lance McCullers with a 1-2-3 inning. He is retired the last 8. We are through 6, tied at 1.
Presented by Toyota, and it's the 7th inning, so you know what that means. You better glue yourself to the TV and watch these Astros, because that's when they get to work. 13 comeback wins so far this season. They've scored 69 runs from the 7th inning on, and it's not just one player, guys. We've seen everyone contribute here. 11 of the position players, 11 position players have had game tying or game, I should say all position players have had game tying or game winning RBIs. That's impressive. That's every single position player coming through in the clutch for these Houston Astros. It's a good ball club.
It's been a good ball club. It's been a clutch ball club. That's why they're 20-10. I saw somebody tweet yesterday they're going to start watching the game beginning in the 7th inning.
They're going to miss us for the first 6.
We don't encourage that. We'd rather you watch from the start. But this has certainly been go time for the Astros. And now in the 7th, they get a new pitcher in right-hander Blake Parker.
Blake Parker is going to come at you with 94-mile-an-hour fastball and breaking balls, split-finger pitch when you get to 2 strikes. There's superstars on this Astros team, yet you watch that highlight, you couldn't tell who it was.
Yeah, like Julia said, just contributions all the way through. Tonight, it's been a struggle for a team coming in batting .300 with runners in scoring position. Astros have had runners all night long, 11 different base runners, and yet only 1 run against J.C. Ramirez. He worked out of trouble consistently tonight with 2 runners on in 5 of the 6 innings and another runner on in the other inning. Nori Aoki was on last time. As you look at Parker, I'm going to mention his repertoire. He's been throwing that splitter more in 17, the curveball not as much. Fastball on the corner. Aoki thought it was away. And it's 1-2. Glad he could join us from Anaheim tonight on this Saturday evening. Aoki might have something to argue about there.
I'd say.
Rory was happy not to hit into a double play last time. He led off the inning with a base hit, chopping one over the head of Yunel Escobar. And he takes one in the dirt there. It's 2-2.
So you're saying he walked to the box to lead off this inning and with a smile on his face again?
He did. Dallas was happy to get out of the game last night with a W, but he was not thrilled the way things ended in the 9th inning. Dallas Keuchel watching on. Ended up being his worst line of the year, but then again, he goes into the 9th inning for the 2nd time this season. He's pitched at least 7 innings in all 7 starts. And that is something that hasn't been done before. Not only in the last few years, but ever. 7 starts of 7+ innings or more for the Astros. Last time that happened was in 2009. Kevin Millwood and Roy Halladay did that. Say ever. It's been a while. You're talking about 8 years the last time somebody has done that. And those guys, 7 straight starts, could be in the middle of the season. Dallas has come out of the gates that way. On the ground towards short. Simmons makes the play. 1 out.
Kind of piggyback on what Julia was talking about with that 7th inning on, that 7th inning, all those runs, close to 70 runs. You see the 81 Cincinnati Reds in comparison hit .316 on base percentage. The high was the New York Yankees in 09, .403, slugging at .542. The Astros are approaching that as far as slugging percentage, but dominating in the other categories. Just to give you a historical context on what these guys are doing.
Both those teams ended up with the best record in baseball for those respective years. So that bodes well. Astros doing things that haven't happened in a while. We mentioned with Keuchel, 7+ innings to start a season since 09, and now those numbers late and close. Astros late and close, been dominating offensively. Tonight, we are tied in the 7th inning. George Springer at the plate with a 1-0 count. He's been on base a couple of times, infield single and a walk. Big swing and a foul ball into the upper deck here at Angel Stadium. Parker with 22 strikeouts in 13 innings. It's good for 7th in the major leagues. In terms of strikeouts per 9. Fastball inside. Maldonado held it there for a split second. It's 2-1. Todd Kaus alongside Jeff Blum, Julia Morales, baseball historian and part-time technician, John Reynolds, helping out in the booth as well.
He's been killing it.
Two-one pitches away. It's 3-1. With you again tomorrow with day baseball here from Angel Stadium. Local time 12:37. Central time 2:37. First pitch. Mike Fiers will be on the mound. Posed by Matt Shoemaker. 3-1. High fly ball to center field, but not deep enough. Cameron Maben will wait. Springer is out number 2 here in the 7th.
Tell you what, George had a pretty good AB, nothing to show for. He just missed a couple of pitches on the foul ball, but you can also just miss a pitch like you just saw from George Springer and hit a nice deep fly ball. He barreled it up, just didn't square it up.
Here's Josh Reddick looking for his first hit. He's been on the ground all 3 times tonight.
You didn't even see. You just reacted.
Caught me off guard.
Got him.
Got him.
Oh, man.
Yuli's hair. That is a beautiful thing. Nothing in 1 to count to Reddick.
I don't know how you feel about it.
Breaking ball in the dirt is 1-1.
For the love of elevation.
I mean, it defies gravity.
You can't teach that.
No, you can't. That's got to be, I mean.
There's 5-tool players. There's a 6-tool player.
It's got to be hair product. There's got to be some. What's keeping that up?
Aquanet.
Are they a sponsor? It's 1 and 2.
Yeah, an 86.
When Mike Scott last pitched. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, there he goes. We've had enough fun with Yuli's hair for the inning. There'll be more.
Is there somebody in the dugout that shakes him really hard and it goes just, poofs up?
1-2 and swing and a miss. So after the Astros had a base runner in every inning, Blake Parker has the first 1-2-3 inning of the night for LA. couple of singles tonight. What have you noticed with his pitching selection?
We're going to find out here pretty quick. He has mixed it up in the sense that he is throwing more fastballs. We've actually seen quite a few changeups also, keeping some of these hitters off balance. But that running fastball, we've seen a lot more arm side run on that fastball, tying up some of these right-handed hitters. But he's been very aggressive in the location, pitching ahead, which is good to see from Lance McCullers. Been a lot of fun to watch, but the strikeouts have not been up. They've actually been aggressive in putting the ball in play, and there's a look at that pitch usage for the season. Almost 40% fastball, 50% curve, mixing in that changeup.
Tonight?
You see 50% fastball flip between the fastball and curveball. The changeup has gone up to 18% in this start.
The changeup has been a big weapon. He's thrown some behind in the count to a guy like Pujols. Lance starts the inning with a fastball away to really the only guy that's done any damage, Luis Valbuena, with 2 base hits tonight. The rest of the lineup is 0 for the night against Lance McCullers Jr. And he misses away to his former teammate. He's down 2-0. Valbuena with a single off the wall scored the only run of the game, an unearned run allowed in the second inning with a pass ball in the mix. 2-0 is hammered foul. Valbuena way in front of that. You can see it there, way up into the upper deck.
It's a good cricket hit.
Astros have had a lot more opportunities than the Angels, but that's the name of the game. You got to score those runs with runners in scoring position. And tonight, 3 double plays have hurt Houston. Valbuena backs off on a pitch inside. It's 3-1. Lance has struck out 3. He's walked 1. In addition to those 2 hits by Valbuena, only 3 base runners tonight for the Angels. Make it 4. Valbuena on for the 3rd time tonight.
Breaking ball at the top of the zone, the entire baseball in the top portion of that strike zone according to our MD Anderson strike zone, but not good enough to get the call.
Mentioned in the last inning or the inning before, Lance has not had a lot of close calls go his way tonight. Here's Andrelton Simmons. See, he has been on the ground a couple of times against McCullers. Lance has 4 outs in the air. The rest ground balls or strikeouts, and a foul catches Brian McCann, 0-1. Will Harris, with Lance approaching 90 pitches on the night, begins to throw for the Astros. Lance has had his share of success against the Angels. It was interesting to see how he would do tonight on the road, where things have been rough, and so far so good. But he walks the leadoff base runner here in the 7th. On the ground, chop foul. Simmons down to the count, 0-2. Called 3rd strike, outside corner. Simmons gets called looking for the 4th strikeout of the game, the 1st out in the 7th.
Sometimes it evens out. Pitch off the plate with that breaking ball, but nasty enough to get the field. And Colbreth called 3rd strike on Andrelton Simmons.
So here's Cameron Maybin. Been grounded out on a great play by Carlos Correa, who's played fantastic defense in this series and also has flied out to center field. Pitch down low for a ball, 1-0.
There's an interesting look. The only other player I've seen do that is Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence pants.
Stirrups up to the knees.
I've never seen the pants not get past the knees. Seen the high Carlos Correa doing it the proper way.
On the ground towards Correa. McCullers claps his hand into his glove because he knows that could be a double play. It is to end the 7th. And McCullers has worked through 7 in 2-hit, 1-run fashion. We are tied heading to the 8th. Brilliant through 7 so far. He has allowed 2 hits, both singles to Luis Valbuena, a couple of walks, 1 unearned run, and that's it.
He's getting some love and probably giving some love too on those guys up the middle. You saw Marwin Gonzalez getting a high five on that 6-4-3 double play. As we look at David Hernandez, graduate of Elk Grove High School here in California. 6 games he's been in, yet to record a win or a loss. 5 2/3 innings pitched, and a whip at .53. Not too bad. 6'3", 245-pounder. Bringing the fastball, curveball.
First batter he faces is a guy he faced last night, Carlos Correa. Got him to ground out. Astros did score a run off Hernandez last night on an RBI single by Josh Reddick as he delivers home and misses outside for ball 1. Last inning, the Astros went down 1-2-3 for the first time in this game. McCullers has faced the minimum of 3 batters in the last 3 innings and also in the first inning. Now the count is 2-0. Hernandez acquired by the Angels on April 24th from the Atlanta Braves, a team the Astros will see Tuesday and Wednesday at Minute Maid Park. Pop up on the infield, Simmons and Pennington. It's Simmons who takes it for out number 1.
It's already time, baseball fans. The 2017 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Head to astros.com/vote to choose your All-Star Game worthy stars and send them to the All-Star Game on July 11th in Miami. Presented proudly by MasterCard.
You can vote already, huh? 2 months into the 2 months away from the All-Star Game.
You don't have an idea who's an All-Star already?
I have an idea. We're 30.
You ready to commit?
No, not ready to commit.
Not ready to commit and vote?
Lance is having a nice conversation right there with Joe Musgrove. Almost gives you the sense that Lance might be out after 7 innings. We saw Will Harris warming up last inning, and there's continuing to be action in the Astros bullpen. If it is Lance's last inning, 7 innings of no earned run baseball. If that's the case, his ERA career against the Angels goes down to 1.55. This is a team he has really pitched well against. 1-2 the count to Carlos Beltran. And for Lance in particular, nice to have one of those outings on the road.
It's possible. And maybe that's all he needs to get going, is knowing that he can make the adjustment. And whatever he did today worked for him, and hopefully he continues it in his next road start.
McCullers' next road start will come in Yankee Stadium on the next road trip. That sends the Astros to both Yankee Stadium and the home of the 2017 All-Star Game, Marlins Park in Miami. Beltran a double, a line out, and a ground out tonight. Down to the count 1-2. The Angels bullpen now with a strikeout of Beltran has come in and retired 5 in a row between Blake Parker and now David Hernandez, as Beltran goes down swinging for out number 2. Not sure if there's a special promotion going on tonight, but a lot of fans are enjoying flickering their lights on their phone as if we're at a concert. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Brian McCann taking a pitch down low for a ball, 1-0.
We've actually seen that here several times in Anaheim. I'm not sure if that's where it originated, but instead of doing the wave, I think this is the modern day wave, which I appreciate a heck of a lot more than the original wave.
Yeah, I kind of like this one better.
Yep.
Kind of makes it like you're looking at stars at night.
They're big and bright.
Deep in the heart. 1-1 the count to Brian McCann. McCann's been on base with a walk and a single. 1 for 2. And he takes a pitch down and in for a ball. It's 2-1. That's an aggressive throw right there. There's a line drive. How about Brian McCann? Back-to-back base hits to left field. You just showed the spray chart prior to his last at bat. 5 hits to left, 5 to center, 13 to right. Now back-to-back oppo.
You're welcome. We're here for Brian McCann. He's doing a good job. That's a great pitch to go the other way on. Not trying to do too much. Just take what they give you. A little bit off the plate. But that was a beautiful swing.
I'm going to bring up Yuli Gurriel. Yuli 1 for 3, has flied out twice and has singled.
Oh my gosh, Southern California is in a panic. It's drizzling.
We have an alert.
It's El Nino.
My goodness, people are streaming away from their seats with this drizzle. They don't know what's happening right now in Southern California. 0-1 pitch is a big breaking ball and a big swing and a miss from Gurriel. It's 0-2. There's the drizzle.
Well, good work by the cameraman to blur out the lights to actually make it look like it might be raining.
And a swing and a miss. Hernandez takes care of Gurriel on 3 pitches. Some nasty pitches you saw in that at bat. So 1 left on. We head to the bottom of the 8th. A little drizzle here in SoCal.
slight drizzle here in Anaheim tonight. We want to reveal the winner of tonight's Chevy Stroh poll. We asked you, who do you consider to be the greatest pure hitter in Major League history? Pete Rose wins with 37%, but with 27%, we got a lot of write-in candidates tonight. Ty Cobb, Hank Aaron were on that list and got some votes too. This is where this comes from, though. We're looking at the all-time hit leaders. Pete Rose right on top there. Ty Cobb, Hank Aaron, usual, and Tris Speaker. So some of the write-in candidates, guys, as you could probably guess, Teddy Ballgame was on there.
Yep.
Who else did we have?
Not
Tony
to be confused with Teddy Aoki.
Tony Gwynn. Right.
Tony Gwynn. Got a couple of Vladimir Guerrero tweets that came into me, considering we're watching the Angels game here. Won an MVP with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Rod Carew was on that list, too.
Rod could swing it. Yeah, that's true.
He got some votes.
Stan the Man got at least one vote. Here's Cliff Pennington leading off against a new pitcher for the Astros, Will Harris, on a swing and a foul off the mask of Brian McCann. It's a good Stroh poll tonight. How about Lance McCullers Jr. evening? That was a nice outing.
It was a really nice outing. It's good to see him pitching through some of the adversity, knowing coming in that he was having such a rough time in that gray uniform.
So Will takes over, facing the bottom third of the order for the Angels in the bottom half of the 8th inning. You saw the bag on the head of that fan. We've got umbrellas out, ponchos out, and people were streaming out of their seats with a little bit of rain here in Southern California. One pitch called strike 1-2. It's actually raining harder now. I will give them that.
I'll give them that, yeah. There is actual rain.
This is a tarpaulin that is not used very often by the grounds crew here in Southern California, in Anaheim to be specific, as Pennington grounds one foul. It's 1-2. More fans are heading towards the exit as the rain comes down a little harder. The tarpaulin does not get rolled out very often.
I thought that was just an advertisement.
There was, what, a Sunday night rainout a couple of years ago against the Red Sox?
2015.
Only, what, 13 or 14 in their history of the stadium?
Yep.
52 years. A ball in the dirt from Will Harris. 95 was the last rainout before that Sunday night game was rained out a couple of years ago.
June 16th of 1995. Before that, 1988, 86, 83. But yeah, that's some sporadic rainouts.
Since 1995, one rainout.
Thank goodness for the rain hat giveaway.
What's that? 2-2 pitch down and hit it 3-2. What is the giveaway? The giveaway is a nice little bag that has now turned into a hat
it's
for
a rain hat giveaway. It wasn't a bag. These people totally misunderstood what these were for.
Two pitch on the ground. Gonzalez backhands nicely, makes the throw just in time to beat Pennington. Good play by Marwin for out number 1 in the bottom of the 8th.
Not very nice by Marwin. He timed that perfectly. Got Cliff Pennington's hopes up. He was hustling down that line, but Marwin timed that perfectly for a bang-bang play. Around the infield, if a guy made the runner do this, we'd look at each other and go, make him run. Just enough to get thrown out. Just a little bit of a dangle in that carrot, tease him a little bit.
Here's Martin Maldonado. He sends one to center field. Springer all the way back to the track at the wall. It's off the wall. Maldonado into second base with a one-out double.
Maldonado's proven to be a nemesis in this series so far. Home run last night off Dallas Keuchel. This one down and in. And again, I didn't think he got all of it. The ball jumping off the bat of Maldonado. Get a look at George Springer going back towards that wall. He might have lost that.
I think Reddick may have lost it too, because Reddick started looking at Springer, and this ball did not bounce high off the wall. It was catchable. When Reddick came over, he kind of started looking at Springer. I think if Josh goes back, he might have a shot at that. Instead, it ends up being a double with 1 out. Danny Espinosa takes over as a pinch runner at second base. Now Harris deals with Ben Revere.
That was really weird.
Yeah,
George Springer's a very good center fielder. Josh Reddick is a very good right fielder, but I thought George was going to make a play on it.
I think Reddick deferred to Springer, and George was never quite back there. So now Will Harris will have to deal with Revere with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. And Harris and McCann want to get on the same side.
Because I was watching the play as it happened on the field. I wasn't watching the monitor. And right there, it looked like George was going to make an attempt to make that play and hit the base of the wall.
Yeah, if you get another shot at that with both those two outfielders, more than likely they're going to make that play. But in this case, it falls in for a double. See, the Astros just 1 for 8 coming in, batting .300 on the season with runners in scoring position. And Revere has grounded out and struck out. On the ground towards short. Correa with the play to first. Moving over to third is the pinch runner Espinosa. He's there with 2 away.
Good choice. Take the outs when they're given to you.
So the go-ahead run at third, 90 feet away, with the aggressive Yunel Escobar at the plate. Yunel has swung on the first pitch at 2 of his 3 at-bats and grounded out to short. He's also walked. First pitch here and fouls it away, 0-1.
But Julia's pass list is here.
It's in the 50s, but in Southern California, 50s can require heavy jackets. Harris ahead, 0-1. Way upstairs, 1-1. Will last pitched on Tuesday, picked up a save in that game against the Rangers. Scoreless 9th inning Tuesday night against Texas, including a couple of strikeouts for his first save of the year. Ahead of Escobar, 1-2.
Methodical Will Harris going after Escobar with that breaking ball off the outer edge. Nicely done.
And he gets him again on the breaking ball. Escobar goes down swinging. Will Harris leaves a runner on third base. We head to the 9th in Anaheim with the score: Astros 1 and Angels 1.
tied at 1 here in Anaheim. 2017 Coca-Cola Astros Buddies memberships are on sale now for only $25. Kids up to 12 years old get a voucher for 4 tickets to a select Astros game. Priority access to Kids Run the Bases, player autograph sessions, and more. Visit astros.com/buddies to get a Buddies membership for your kid today. Blummer, new pitcher on the mound for the Angels.
Everybody's favorite, Bud Norris, took the loss last night, giving up that big hit to Carlos Correa. Fastball, slider, a little bit of a cutter. Had a chance to exchange pleasantries with Bud before the game. Always an interesting conversation. That loss came last night. 16 innings pitched. 1.19 whip, not too bad. Kind of enjoying the new role that he's in here with the Anaheim Angels.
I would think anybody out of the bullpen would be happy to be kind of the closing guy, the 9th inning guy. That's where Norris has found himself. Converted all but 1 save opportunity last night. Came on in a tie situation, as he is tonight. Will face Marwin Gonzalez as the first hitter. Norris pitched with the Astros from 2009 through 2013, primarily as a starter. Did make 1 start out of the bullpen in his rookie year in 09. Moved on to the Orioles in 2013 and San Diego in 2015. And the Braves and the Dodgers last year. Split time between the rotation and the bullpen for both of those teams. Marwin takes a called strike. It's 1-1. Marwin with a base hit his last time up, extends his hitting streak to 6 games. He's also been hit on the back foot and flied out to left. Going just under 500 during that hitting streak. 9 for 19. It's Gonzalez, Alex Bregman, Nori Aoki, the bottom 3 in the Astros lineup, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Norris ahead 1-2. Mentioned in the pregame show that of the top 4 spots in the lineup for OPS, 7, 8, and 9 are all in there. 8's the top spot, 7 is the second spot, and 9 is the 4th spot. Only the number 3 spot in the lineup into the mix in the top 4.
It's an upside down lineup.
And Marwin's been a big part of the reason for those numbers. 9 home runs, 21 runs batted in. Norris on a pitch inside. Marwin stays alive on a foul ball.
That's what Todd's talking about. The top 4 spots in the order by OPS. Combines on base percentage and slugging percentage to come up with that number. But that 8 spot took over the 9 spot. There was a 9 spot there for a while. But that 8 hole with the guys swinging the bats nicely. Coming up big late in ball games too. But that is not your standard Major League Baseball lineup to have that kind of OPS down in the order.
Oh, it's been fun to watch. There are no weak spots anywhere in A.J. Hinch's lineup. Marwin into left field. Revere right there in his tracks. Maybe backs up a step or 2. And Gonzalez retired for the first out in the 9th inning.
Third baseman, number 2, Alex Bregman.
Norris pitching for the 2nd consecutive game, as Blummer mentioned. Faced 5 batters last night. He faced the top of the order: Springer, Reddick, Altuve, Correa, and Beltran. Now he's got Alex Bregman at the plate with 1 out and nobody on.
Has Alex hit a home run yet?
He has not.
Oh, it's interesting. That'd be a good time for it.
You look at this team, I mean, there's 1 guy without a home run. That'll be the guy at the plate. Hit 8 last year. So.
Oh, it's in there. He's definitely got the pop.
Game 31 might not be a bad time, especially in a tie game in the 9th inning.
Do it as a gift to Jose Altuve on his birthday.
And don't forget, Altuve is available off the bench tonight to not get a start on his 27th birthday, as Chris Davinsky picked up a save in last night's game, begins to loosen in the Astros bullpen. Started to warm up last night with the game tied, and the Astros scored a run in the 10th inning. So it became a save opportunity for Devo, and he pitched a 1-2-3 bottom of the 10th. Bregman ahead 2-1. Alex has singled, grounded out, and struck out, but he has not been ahead of the count very often. But he has a hitter's count here at 2-1. And a strike, 2-2. That cutter's been a big pitch for Norris this year.
It really has. You can see he's fearless throwing it, doesn't mind throwing it in the hitter's count that you were just talking about, 2-1. Not worried about falling behind because he's unable to locate it. But a lot of off speed early. Again, it just takes one.
Fouled above our heads, it stays 2-2. Astros have had their chances tonight. Not necessarily against the Angels bullpen, just one hit in 2 1/3 innings so far. But against the starter, J.C. Ramirez, they had runners on every inning and at least 2 in 5 of the 6 innings. But 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. And the Astros scoring just 1 run against Ramirez despite 11 base runners in 6 innings. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, but Bregman has a chance to get to first base, and he will as the ball gets away from the new catcher, Juan Gratterall. And Bregman with a strikeout lives on first base with 1 away.
Yeah, it was interesting the way that ball just stayed down underneath the 5-hole of the catcher, Gratterall. Leads to that base runner, and an opportunity for Jose Altuve to sneak into this ball game as a pinch runner.
American League leader in stolen bases picked up a huge steal last night, stealing a base in the 10th inning against Bud Norris on the mound, and that ended up being a pivotal play because Carlos Correa followed with a base hit. So you know Norris will be very aware of the guy who's 9 of 10 in stolen bases at first. Nori Aoki at the plate. Ball gets away. Altuve thought about it, but his former teammate Valbuena recovers in time.
Jose Altuve sparking that rally last night. Did a good job of staying on that pitch, going the other way, gets on first base, and we know he's aggressive on the base pass. Runs himself into scoring position, and then left it up to Carlos Correa with that slider backing up, shoots it the other way. Altuve scores easily for the win.
Well, Altuve gets into the game on his 27th birthday. Last night it was a combination of Norris and Maldonado. Tonight it's Norris and Gratterall, and the pitch is away. It's 1-0. Interesting to hear Carlos Correa talk about, even though he was at 0-1 in the count, that it was an instant take as soon as he saw Altuve start to run, because he knew that could set him up for a potential game winner with a base hit.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in those games, but some of that savvy and that recognition by Carlos Correa, understanding that Altuve has the opportunity to run himself into scoring position. It's a real opportunity, but a gutsy job by a good hitter too.
Not a huge lead, and Altuve dives back safely. So A.J. Hinch's birthday gift of a day off for Altuve last 8 innings, as he's a pinch runner here in the 9th. And then the thought process is, well, if you have one of the best hitters, why is he not pinch hitting? And I think Hinch wanted to use Altuve with possibly Gonzalez, possibly with Bregman. So he wanted to have that luxury of finding whoever got on base to use Altuve's speed at that spot. There he goes. Pitches a strike. The throw is also a strike. Altuve is out at second base.
Bad jump. Took a chance. Gratterall stepped up, but Altuve did him a favor by not getting the best jump. You can see just not a quick, and that last little hesitation by Altuve to take off towards second base leads to that out.
Took a perfect throw, but you're right, it was not a great jump by Altuve. As Aoki slices one back to the screen, it's 1-2.
I don't fault him for trying.
Only caught for the second time this year. He's now 9 of 11. Both times he's been caught have been in late inning situations. The Astros trying to roll the dice, knowing an Aoki base hit could have given them the lead in the ninth. Now Nori down to the count 1-2. They want to pitch up in the zone against Nori. It's up and in for ball 2. Norris is the 4th Angels pitcher used tonight. 3rd out of the bullpen. David Hernandez, Blake Parker, also the starter J.C. Ramirez. And this ball hits Aoki, or does it? It bounces up there. I guess it missed Aoki and got the catcher Gratterall.
That was awesome. Not too often you see a pitch that far out in front of home plate. There's all kinds of good things happening right there. How do you hold that?
Why wasn't that the pitch when Altuve was running?
Exactly. That's the better question. Timing is everything.
So now Nori, after being down in the count 1-2, has a full count. George Springer on deck. And that's a liner foul into the crowd here at Angel Stadium. The panic is over as the rain has subsided.
Yeah, it's amazing they played through that thunderstorm. Gamers.
There are still people with ponchos on, but for a while there were people streaming out of their seats to make sure they're under cover in a rare, cool, rainy evening in Anaheim. It wasn't even rainy for long, just about a 20-minute light shower. Aoki staying alive, that's something he does well, spoiling pitches.
He may have fouled that off his hand.
Seriously?
He's over there shaking that top hand, but I couldn't believe how far inside that pitch was that he offered at.
You will see things in an Aoki at bat you don't see from many.
Well, maybe just a handful of bees. Sometimes you get jammed like that, vibrates the bat, doesn't feel good. That was impressive to fight that off.
He does wave that wand around and somehow makes contact more often than not. He does it again. When you're a pitcher, you just sit there and go, all right, let's have a meeting. We've tried everything. This guy keeps fouling things off. What are we going to go to next?
You could throw a ball at him right now and he would fire it over the Angels dugout.
We've seen our share of meetings at the mound already with Aoki at the plate this year. After extended at bats, this will be pitch number 20 of the inning for Bud Norris. This time he keeps it fair, but at the second baseman Pennington, and we head to the bottom half of the ninth. Chris Davinsky should be on for the Astros in a 1-1 game. Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Bottom half of the ninth inning tonight. Astros and Angels tied at 1. Houston with 9 hits. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim with just 3. And they turn to their big weapon out of the bullpen who picked up a save last night, Chris Davinsky.
Saw Devo in situations like this early in the season back at Minute Maid Park in some of those extra inning games, pitching 3-4 innings, racking up the strikeouts with that fastball, changeup, curveball. 10th appearance this season, that 1.86 ERA, looking very good with that whip, well under 1. The opponent batting average, but again, I'm going to talk about it as often as I can with Devo. Strikeouts to walks, pretty impressive.
34-2 as he faces the 2-3-4 hitters in the lineup for the Angels. And keep in mind, if you're just tuning in late, there is no Mike Trout in the lineup tonight for the Angels. He was a late scratch, had a hamstring situation a couple of games ago. They have re-aggravated that before the game as Cole Calhoun takes a pitch inside and low for a ball, 1-0. Davinsky picked up his second save of the season last night, and it was his second save against these Angels. Now in a tie game in the bottom of the 9th inning, gets a chase on that changeup that dives out of the zone. It's 1-1.
It is called the circle of death. His changeup.
That's their name for it?
I read it. Guys in that dugout talking about Chris Davinsky's changeup. It is a circle change, but they call it the circle of death.
I like that name. It is one of the best pitches in the game of baseball as he misses down and in with a fastball. It's 2-1. You saw Jose Altuve. He's playing second base now. And his buddy Marwin Gonzalez moved from second to third. Alex Bregman was lifted after reaching for a pinch runner. Altuve will bat in Bregman's number 8 spot. 2-1 to Calhoun. And now Davinsky down 3-1. Chris only needed 12 pitches in last night's game, picking up a 1-2-3 save, facing the 9-1 and 2 hitters. This inning he faces 2, 3, and 4. All 4. Rare walk issued by Chris Davinsky. Leadoff walk in the bottom half of the 9th.
That was not a terrible pitch. That was a great pitch down in the zone. Just didn't get the call.
Well, here's Albert Pujols. For 3 against Lance McCullers. McCullers 7 innings of 1 run. It was an unearned run. 3-hit baseball. Check that 2-hit baseball. Will Harris gave up the 3rd hit in the 8th inning, a breaking ball for a called strike. Pujols thought that was outside. 0-1.
Pretty good pitch.
And he gets Pujols chasing 0-2. Davinsky's thrown more changeups than fastballs this year.
You can see why.
He'll throw that changeup over 50% of the time when he gets to 2 strikes. No chase there. It's 1-2. Fastball away. We're even up at 2. Drive, base hit into left field. Turning second, heading to third is Calhoun. Aoki's throw is cut off. First and third. Nobody out. Bottom half of the 9th.
Living on that outside corner, Chris Davinsky against Albert Pujols. You see everything away, but that changeup coming back over that outer edge. just enough for Albert Pujols to get around it and hook it into left field. Good job of base running by Cole Calhoun, trying to extend it going first to third. That is a Mike Scioscia team trademark.
A.J. Hinch out to talk strategy as much as anything else. With runners on the corners and nobody out in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Last year in Devo's rookie year, his teammate was Luis Valbuena, so they have never faced each other. You'll see Valbuena here with the game on the line and a winning run 90 feet away. Astros, of course, bring the infield in, and the outfielders have to play shallow enough. They throw out a runner at home plate. Well, those 34 strikeouts might come in handy now. Davinsky facing Valbuena for the first time.
And this is why the Astros talk about swing and miss guys and other bullpen. They want to have that opportunity to get the strikeouts in these situations when you have runners in scoring position, number one. But number two, when you have that winning run 90 feet away, puts a lot of pressure on Brian McCann to keep that ball out in front.
Started out Valbuena with a changeup that he missed, nothing in one. In the dirt, picked by McCann, 1-1. Nothing but changeups this at bat, right?
That is filthy too. Tough as a hitter when you see that changeup in the inside to try and tell your brain to relax and let the ball travel. As soon as you see anything on the inside corner as a hitter, your first reaction is to open up and try and get the barrel out as quick as you can.
Fastball, swing and a miss. Strike three. There's the strikeout, out number one in the bottom of the ninth. Runner still in the corner.
Got rid of Luis Valbuena. Tough situation right there, but a good job of pitching backwards by Chris Davinsky. Change-ups early that you were talking about, Todd. Got him to that two-strike count and then just blew the doors off him because he hadn't seen a fastball yet.
So here's Andrelton Simmons against Davinsky. Astros are going to keep the infield in. In fact, Yuli Gurriel is about as close as you can be at first base.
First and third situation, that potential sac bunt being pushed down.
Chopper off the plate, the winning run coming home. The throw is not in time. Angels win on an infield chop off the bat of Simmons, scoring Cole Calhoun, and they win it 2-1.
Two-to-one game, and the biggest number for me that's on the scoreboard right now is left on base. 8 runners were left on base by the Houston Astros. Usually a team that does a very good job in situations with runners in scoring position. The chopper comes back to haunt the Houston Astros.
Leadoff walk by Cole Calhoun hurts as Simmons hits a chopper just in front of the plate, high enough that there was no play at home as Calhoun scored in between a big hit by Albert Pujols.
In a loss by the Houston Astros, we're going to give you the player of the game. It's brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and it is Lance McCullers Jr. He made the adjustment today. He went out there and said, I'm going to pitch better on the road, and did. You see the numbers, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, was not an earned run. Only a couple of walks. He pitched to contact, used that defense behind him. But again, we're seeing early on in the season in Lance's starts, the offense is having a tough time picking him up in the run category. Coming into this game, only 3 runs of support. That's probably going to go down after this start.
In 4 of his 8 starts against the Angels, the final score has been 2-1. As
Ouch.
it is tonight, unfortunately, it's the other way after the Astros won the last 2 McCullers starts against the Angels by that same score of 2-1. Bud Norris, the former Astro, the winner. Chris Davinsky takes the loss. We'll have more, including the postgame show, right around the corner.